Fans, a historic contract is shaking up negotiations across the NFL, causing turmoil behind the scenes and stalling important renewals on other teams. As if that weren't enough, Deion Sanders' name has been thrown into the middle of a controversy by none other than the Browns' quarterback coach. When two bombs drop at the same time, it's a sign that Cleveland is at the center of the league's attention, like it or not. Welcome. Show your support for the Browns by reaching 100 likes on today's video. The name that has frozen the NFL market in 2025 is Myles Garrett. The Browns pass rusher, named Defensive Player of the Year, signed a new $160 million contract for 4 years, becoming the highest-paid non-quarterback in league history. A monumental achievement for Cleveland, but reportedly, it has created a highly problematic domino effect for other franchises and elite athletes. Let's get to the facts. Garrett had requested to be traded at the start of the offseason. His relationship with the Browns seemed strained, and the player was public about his dissatisfaction. But everything changed when the front office decided not to negotiate. They resolved it with money, a lot of money. The contract not only guarantees the number 95 in Cleveland until 2029, but also raised the salary cap for his position to a level that simply stalled negotiations for other edge rushers. Among those affected are names like T.J. Watt, Trey Hendrickson, and Micah Parsons, all waiting for new contracts. And the reason for the wait is clear. No one wants to sign below the new standards set by Garrett. Former Browns cornerback Hanford Dixon even pointed out on his show that Myles' deal created a new benchmark. In other words, agents are using this figure as a baseline, and franchises, of course, are not so willing to keep up with this pace. But what makes the case even more explosive is the significant advantage that Garrett's contract represents. It wasn't a fine-tuning or a slight increase, it was a dramatic leap, with a direct impact on the salary cap structure of the entire league. If Micah Parsons already had arguments to demand a massive contract, now he has an undeniable precedent. And the question that all front offices are asking is, who is going to foot the bill? The Browns' decision, as bold as it was, reveals an important point. They know the value they have in Myles Garrett. Since entering the league as the first overall pick in 2017, the former Texas A&M player has accumulated impressive numbers. He has 7 consecutive seasons with at least 10 sacks, 4 All-Pro selections, and a consistency that keeps him at the top of the defensive rankings year after year. In 2024, he recorded 14 sacks, 47 tackles, and 3 forced fumbles, playing all the games of the season. That said, it's hard to criticize the front office for holding on to their best player. Garrett is more than a pass rusher. He is the identity of the Browns' defense, the nightmare of opposing quarterbacks, and the leader of a group that promises to be dominant for years. But the cost of keeping him may extend beyond the field. The entire NFL is now dealing with the consequences. Interestingly, even with all the side effects, the contract was seen as necessary. The Browns, accustomed to losing their stars or seeing talent undervalued, decided to stake their claim with strength. And now, even if other franchises complain, the standard is set. Anyone wanting to retain their elite pass rusher will have to open their wallets like never before. Meanwhile, the team's other star, the most controversial of them all, remains embroiled in a situation that mixes football, family, and public criticism. And once again, Cleveland is at the center of the storm. Deshaun Watson has made headlines again this offseason, but this time not for injuries, performance, or past scandals. What caught attention was a statement from his personal trainer, Quincy Avery, who fired shots at none other than Deion Sanders, the current coach of the University of Colorado and father of Shedeur Sanders, the Browns' rookie quarterback. The controversy began during Avery's appearance on the Maggie and Perloff show, where the coach, who has worked with various NFL quarterbacks, openly questioned Deion's motives. Did he do all this to really develop young athletes or just to promote his own son? Avery said, referring to Shedeur's path to the NFL, always under the direct guidance of his father. The criticism was direct, but it touches on a point that many have been discussing behind the scenes. How much Deion Sanders' figure interferes with the development and evaluation of Shedeur as a professional athlete. Some see Deion as a present and dedicated father, while others view him as a helicopter parent, always hovering, controlling, and centralizing everything around his son. Shedeur Sanders was drafted by the Browns in the 5th round of 2025, a considerable fall for a quarterback who had been projected in the top 10 months earlier. Many analysts point out that the main reason for this drop wasn't performance, but rather the complete package that teams would have to accept when dealing with Deion. This, of course, is not officially confirmed, but it has already become a sensitive point within the league. Quincy Avery's statement only added fuel to the fire. And the fact that he is Deshaun Watson's personal trainer, the starter and supposed mentor of Shedeur, makes everything even more complicated. Internally, the situation could generate noise. After all, how will the relationship between Shedeur and the staff that openly questions his background and family support be? It's worth noting that Watson and Shedeur haven't shared many snaps yet, but the plan in Cleveland is for the rookie to learn under the veteran's supervision over the next 2 years. A healthy environment would be ideal, but with statements like this, the locker room is already beginning to feel the impact of external pressure, and that's never good for the development of a young quarterback. On the other hand, it's hard to ignore that Shedeur arrives in the NFL with his own merits. At Colorado, he demonstrated reading ability, passing accuracy, and leadership. The problem is that for every compliment about his talent, there's a shadow cast by his father's direct influence. And as long as this balance isn't achieved, the narrative will continue to overshadow the football. For Deion, the criticisms come from various sides, but there is also a huge base of support. Fans and former players see him as someone who revolutionized college football, brought attention to undervalued athletes, and fiercely protected his son. The line between nepotism and paternal care is thin, and in the case of the Sanders, it's under constant scrutiny. As the Browns try to shield Shedeur and build a smooth transition, the reality is that this story is still far from over. And with Deion's figure present in every interview, sideline, and post, the external noise will continue to be part of the rookie's daily life. The Browns are living two extremes of visibility. On one hand, they are paying the largest contract in history to keep Myles Garrett, their defensive face. On the other, they are trying to manage the arrival of a rookie surrounded by noise and expectations while his coach fires shots at the most media-savvy father in current American football. In both cases, the message is clear. Cleveland is at the center of NFL discussions, and that brings power, but also pressure. And you, Browns fan, do you think Garrett's contract was necessary, even if it has frozen the market? And what about Deion? Is he helping or hindering Shedeur's path in Cleveland? Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more strong analyses straight from the Dog Pound.